guys, welcome to EMS, Empower Melbourne Shuffle. You guys already know, my name is Gribbs. Today we're going to be focusing on one of my favorite fundamentals, once again, spins. So I'm going to show you guys just one or two things differently that I've been doing. I'm developing my fundamentals and new moves more and more as I grow and evolve. And then I will bring the camera down closer so you can see exactly what my feet are doing when you're spinning, okay? And also, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and hit the bell. That way you're notified every time I upload a video. So if you guys remember, or if you haven't watched the first video, go check it out from the first series. On spins, how to turn, how to properly distribute your weight and center of gravity, all that. If you remember the X-plant spin, going to your left, that was the main spin that we worked on. Usually every year, as one of my mentors had explained to me, you kind of add on an extra rotation or a revolution, an extra spin when you do them. It just takes time, and the more you find your center of gravity, the more you practice. Obviously, practice, I'm going to say it every time, and consistency, you're going to find that you'll be able to add more and more spins. You'll be able to do, there's what's called basically like a dime stop spin, where you can stop, on a dime basically. But you won't get to that point until you're really, you've been doing this for a while, and you just got to keep spinning. Okay. All right. So one of the newer spins that I haven't shown before, I'm going to show you how to do it a couple different ways. And this is more if you want to go on your toes. And for this, you have to have some really nice, a really good smooth floor, in my opinion. Otherwise, it can be pretty tricky and it can be difficult. So that's why I always go to the park and I dance on the tennis court or sometimes the basketball court, because it's super smooth. Okay, it's like a stage type setting of dance floor. It's smooth. And for this dance, it's preferred to have a smooth surface. So, and for spins as well. So you guys know the X-plant, and I'll be going over what I do more with my feet, like how it looks later when I move the camera down. But one that I've been practicing also for a while, you thrust up with your arms like this. So you have your arms up here about at your chest, and as you go up on the toes. So you raise your feet, you get up your ankles up onto the balls of your toes, and you let it take you, but you use the thrust and the momentum like that, and you see me spotting right now. Okay, so this one is definitely a little more difficult because, the more you go up and you're trying to balance all that weight on your toes, and especially if you're not quite used to this yet, you want to be more grounded and maybe stick to say the X-plant spin, or just, some basic spins where you're on both feet, completely flat. I mean, you can, practice is the key to everything. I'm going to tell you, you have to practice each move 100 times and then implement it into your flow, and then practice it again until you're not falling over it again. And record yourself. Look back what you did wrong, or what, why wasn't I balanced there, or maybe you're stepping over too much. Maybe you should be stepping in closer, or you're not flexing and engaging your core, So that's just another spin that you can do. Here's what it looks like from the side, okay? Okay, so you can do that. And then you can do the same spin, but going up. Now I know I've talked about this one. That one's like really, really serious. And maybe I'll do a couple of these, but you can do the same thing, but go hands up to your head. And you'll notice as you go higher and higher with the hands, as you become more like kind of straight, the dynamic changes and you become, the spins get faster and faster. Kind of like how, you know, if you spin with your arms out like this, you're going to go slow, okay? But the minute you bring the arms in, okay, you start to go faster and faster, okay? So it's like the aerodynamics, you know, of your body and when you spin. So how this one will look like. So same thing what we did here, but from instead of right here, we're going to go like up to the head. So now with this one, you can do the same thing. You can just thrust up and go right to the head, okay? Okay, so you can go like that. Do one from the side. Okay? And you'll notice, you know like ballerinas, when they're up on their tiptoes, they're doing this, you know? You're kind of doing that a little bit with this one, okay? So just keep that in mind, and it's okay to, if you have to, maybe you'll cross a foot sometimes, lose your footing, that's okay. You just have to make sure you make the full revolution, okay? Okay, so you can do that, and you'll get multiple of these. Let me see if I can try it with a running man here. Okay, so a little sloppy, but you know, the more you practice it in place first, you're gonna get it down to the science. Okay. Now, again, when you go up, you're just at a little bend in the knees, okay? And you can either hands right here, or you can do this one at the head. And you're just using that weight, the twisting motion up, along with the little bend and bounce in the knees. And then as you go up to the turn, that's when you go up on the balls of your feet. So if you're not used to it yet, just get used to doing this. All right? Get used to doing that. You can even do it with your hands down, honestly. That's kind of like a move that I do sometimes in shuffling. I'll be like shuffling, running man. And I'll like do like a quick twist. Sometimes I'll go the other way. Something else you could do right there. But again, just if you're not used to doing a full, 360 turn or spin, that's a good way to get into it. So just get used to going up on your toes like this and do little half circles first. Go like this, okay? Lift yourself up on the toes. And then once you get comfortable, see if you can do a whole spin, okay? This goes back to Series 1 spins, if you guys remember when I said, when you're doing the X-plant or whatever, or when you're just doing kind of like kick spins, see if you can go like one kick without having to touch the foot down again. And eventually you're only doing it one time. Okay? So, you got to find little shortcuts for yourself, little cheat codes to help you kind of figure it out. And, okay? So, that's a good tip for that. Now, moving on to this spin, the super duper fast. Okay, this is like the fastest spin. I've got my X-plant spin pretty fast, but this one is like it's the dynamic of it. Okay, the aerodynamic, because you're just so straight. You don't have anything like hanging off, catching the wind or catching the the air and slowing you down. Okay, just think of it like an airplane. If you want to go faster, you got to be more tucked in. Or when you go down a water slide, to stop yourself, you're going to put your arms out, but to go faster, you're going to ball up into your inner tube or whatever, you know. So, again, so with this one, it's preferred, it's preference. If you want to step over, for explant spin, you can, but you can do this too, like flat. I was sort of flat there, sort of on my toes a little bit. But let's add it with an explant, because that's usually that's what I'm used to doing it as, okay? So I'm just going to step over, and as I step over, okay, my arms are going to go straight up, okay? And you want to grab by the wrist, the wrist, and drive straight up so it's flat. And do your best to try and stay in one spot. I have a tendency, still to this day, to lean over to my left, but you know, you just got to do your best, so. Okay? And then use the pressure of your, like the balls of your the toes, the balls of your foot and your heel to, when you come to the end of the turn, like put pressure in your feet to slow you down. And when you get better at spotting, you know, that focal point, you'll learn to stop wherever you want to do. If I want to stop and look over here, you know, I'm going to put that pressure in my feet to help slow me down, as well as, you know, focal point, and I just know once you do this enough, you can see what's coming up and where you want to stop. So again, let me add it with like a running man, and you would just step over into the X. Okay, that was definitely sloppy. Lost my footing, but that's okay. Okay. You can definitely see how much faster it is. Okay, there, I whipped myself around because, you know, you want to get yourself back to the audience. Okay. Let me try one more time just with standing in place, okay? I'm going to do it once without stepping over into the X. So we're just going to apply the same method as the other two. Okay? Definitely sloppy. We'll try it again. Okay, a little better. Now let me try with the explant one last time. Okay, not bad. Not bad, but not my preferred spin. Explant will always be my favorite. And you know, I'll go more into that next, and what my feet are doing with the explant spin, okay? And you know, feel free to play around with these. You don't have to do these with the feet side by side. You could try and make something up and maybe cross the foot, you know? Try and explant with all the other ones. Just know that usually when I do the explant, one foot is sort of hovering, as I've mentioned before, but ever so slightly, and sometimes the foot will come back down and touch the ground, or I'll be on the heels of my feet. Okay, so play around, experiment with different things, with different pivot points, and see what your body will do. So I'll do a couple of explants here, and then we're going to move on. So explant. Okay. Explant with the running man. Okay. Yeah. Definitely my favorite spin. It's the one I practice the most. So, but you know, don't be afraid to incorporate different spins every now and then. Okay. So, all right, moving on. Again, the explant is the spin that I do every time, but sometimes I'll find myself doing, you know, different types of spins, of course, but especially when I'm rocking out. Okay. Train both sides too if you don't. I've been training going on my right lately. Okay, it's getting much faster. I don't tumble over like I used to, but you got to remember too, like just if you haven't learned a spot, learn to spot, because after you get that down, you just kind of gain that center of gravity, and then you just kind of remember where you left off. So watch. Okay. So it doesn't matter. I can spin, one time. I can spin, 3 times. I can spin, see if I can do more, I always end up back at the front, or back at the, facing the audience or the camera. Okay. I just have that awareness, and you gain that after a while. Like I said, you just have to keep doing this, and don't look down. Remember the golden rules of spins. You want to look up. Okay, you don't want to look down. If you look down, that's where you're going to go. Okay, remember that, and it's going to throw you off balance potentially. So you want to keep your head up, level. Pick a point, the wall, wherever, a focal point. Okay. And before you go into that spin, make sure you're locked. It's like I always think of it like a fighter jet when they're locking onto like their target. Right before I go into my spin, I'll like lock onto wherever I'm looking. Okay. And I will, I'll engage the spin. Start the spin. And the more you learn to spot, the less dizzy you get, the less you'll tumble and fall over. Okay? And, again, you can have wherever you feel comfortable with your arms, if it's right here, if it's like this, or if it's like this, or if it's like the super spin up here, Don't do this one too much, because it's very, very scary to go that fast, especially when you're shuffling. Like this is a very fast-paced, dance. But let me try it again. Okay, that was a smooth one. But again, you have options. You can go here, here, hands on the head. Some people do across the chest, but that's a little sketchy, because if you fall, your arms are going to be crossed. It's going to be hard to uncross them to catch yourself. I always find myself comfortable with my hands right here, that's really about it, I guess. So that I can think of right now. But I'm going to move the camera down here now, so you can watch my feet and see what I'm doing, because sometimes I'll be on one foot, sometimes I'll be on one heel, one foot will be up. You remember I talked about Michael Jackson before. One of his famous spins, he would go into the spin and his right foot would go into the left foot. Okay, not fall over. Okay, so that was his spin. Okay, my spin that I like to do is the X-plant, where I step over, and as I come uncrossed after that first rotation, then I go into the spin. Okay, clearly you can see I'm much better, more smooth, versus the one he did. And it just takes practice, okay? Alright? That's another thing. You can close your arms in. You can grab your arm as you do the spin as well. Okay? You see how at that last point there I used my head? It looked like I wasn't going to make it all the way around, so I used my head to shift me around. You're using your head to come back around, get back to that focal point, or the audience, or the camera, whatever way you're facing. So, all right. Well, now we'll go down to the ground view here. Okay. All right, guys. So now we're gonna do spins from this angle, so you can see what my feet are doing exactly. Because I know a lot of times people have a question like, "What are you doing after the first rotation for the X-plant spin?" And I know it seems difficult or hard right now, but you just have to practice it. And you know, you will do different things with your feet every time you complete like another what do you call it? Revolution, another spin. Like you might do something different than I do. But I'm just gonna spin it out here so you can see what I'm doing. So I'll do it a few, like just standing in place, and then I'll add some running man to it as well, and I'll add some rocking as well. First we'll just do standing in place. Okay, I'll turn to my left here. So this is my right foot going over my left into the X-plant. So, okay, so I step over, both feet come uncrossed. Remember the pressure points like I talked about in Series 1. If you haven't watched Series 1, go back and watch. This is what you're doing essentially, but it's more like right here. You're not up like this, but you're ever so slightly lifted off. Okay. Okay. One more time. And they come uncrossed. And the key is, if you don't leave a gap, remember, if you don't leave that gap, you're going to get twisted up. So you got to leave enough space. That's why you're going to find it difficult in the beginning. Sometimes I step out too far and the spin won't be clean. So you have to step out just enough, about right in the middle right here. Not too far, because if you do that, I mean, see, I stepped off balance there. You want to step over the foot just enough, you know, X. Try to get like a perfect X. Boom. Okay, I even have it angled a little bit because I know I'm going to get ready to turn, okay? So go, you know, speeding it up, going faster now. Go after you complete that. Okay. All right. Scoot back a little bit. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but I am going on both heels a little bit. Okay. Now remember also, I do have baby powder. I didn't sprinkle any down, but there is some left over from, you know, when I was practicing from my last, you know, session. So baby powder will help a lot. It'll help you get the sensation down. And once you have the sensation down, you know what it's like to spin that fast and that many times, then you can do it no problem on almost any floor that is at least somewhat smooth. But yeah, so once again, I am, do that again, you know, I'm able to smoothly spin on this floor because it's, one, it's a nice dance floor. Two, you know, yes, I have a little bit of baby powder on there, so it helps. But again, I'm using my arms also to help make a faster spin, Okay. That one was a little sloppy. Okay. So your feet might lift up. The more smoother the floor is, then you can leave both feet on the ground. Generally, most times. But sometimes I'll do something different. Let me see if I can. Sometimes I'll have my back foot like this. Sometimes I'll spin like this. I think that's usually when I'm like rocking out. Try it again. See that? Sometimes I'll have a foot, like this foot will come back. It's hard to do it right now because I'm just standing in place. It's usually when I'm in movement, like when I'm doing like rocking and stuff. Because I can sit here all day and just spin normal like that. But just to let you know, sometimes you might do different things with your feet. Before, I've caught myself like, after I do the spin, this foot butted behind the other one. It butted behind the other one, and it was like I kind of dubbed it a T-step spin, because after I did my, I ended up like this, so I was like, oh, whoa, that's kind of cool. So I just named it a T-step spin. But yeah, like I said, I've caught myself doing this before. After the first rotation, I've caught myself doing this before, where I butt the foot up against this one, and the ball. You're spinning on the ball of the toe and the ball of the heel. I haven't quite mastered that one, and like I said, I can only kind of do that one when I'm rocking out sometimes. Kind of like that. You can see my feet are kind of twisted up. Try it again. This is all about the foot placement. Boom. Yeah, because sometimes if I go from a rock, I might not do an X-plant. I might go from here, So, yeah. Sometimes I might not do the X-plant right away. I might just go right into a spin since I already have the momentum built up like that. See? My foot is like just barely behind it. But this takes a lot of time, a lot of time and effort to build up to that. And like I said, you'll find different ways to spin. But let's do running man now into a spin. X-plant, okay? So I'll go on the 4, right? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay. So again, 1, 2, 3. All right. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay. So let me do it facing you. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That one was a little sloppy. Let me try it again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay. So I think you have a pretty good idea of my feet. Let me try going to my right side now. Spinning to my right instead of the left. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Sometimes you might pick a foot up, you know. Try and do your best to try and keep both feet down to the ground. In the beginning, you'll have an urgency or a habit to pick your foot up. Sometimes, like that, just to show you what it looks like. And not that you can't do like pirouetted, you know, spins, which I can't do clean, but that's not the type of spin that I do. So I like doing the X-plant spin because Michael Jackson does his. It's very similar, so that's why I do the X-plant. And it's just, I've got it down to the science where I can do a, you know, a complete like dime stop on it. You know? Okay, sometimes you might come out like that to help brace or stop. Sometimes when I'll be rocking, well, first of all, before we get into the rocking, again with the running man, I'll go to my left, I'll spin to my left side. So just do a nice 4 count. So, and 1, and 2, and 3, and as you step over, use that momentum, 3 and 4, and to help spin yourself around. Okay. Try and keep those feet together if you can. Try and see if maybe, okay, my heels or my feet are lifting up. You'll find that center of gravity between right here, you know, the heel and up. Okay. So a good drill is to do a running man into a spin and then back into a running man. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Back into a running man, and then just, you know, keep going. Now, rocking, we're going to do the rocking part next. Again, it might take you a while to figure out the pattern, but for me, I like to go on my left. I like to spin on my left, so when I come right here, boom. I'll usually go here, and most of the time I will do X-plant for a rock. Okay. But sometimes I'll do that one, like I said earlier, where I'm like this. Boom, boom, boom. Maybe I'll do just one spin, because that's not enough. That's not enough momentum. Okay, and you see I kind of lose my balance there, so I just rely on the X-plant because that's the smoothest, best option for me. But if you want to know the pattern I do, there's not a secret. It's just, we can just call it like back, front, cross, or, you know, step over, switch, back, front, cross. So it'll be 8 counts. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Spin. Go back into your rock. Okay. Then sometimes, as you can see there, sometimes I'll prep. Sometimes I'll prep the spin with a turn or with a spin. So I'll do like, it's, you know, it's like the first rotation of the X-plant. So I'll go, sometimes I'll go 1, 2, then 3. So 5, 6, 7, sometimes I'll go boom, boom, then I'll let it rip. So, you know, I'll have the arms out too. Okay, I'll have my arms out, and it's on that last after that first rotation is when I pull the arms in to give you more spin on it, okay? If you leave the arms out, you're going to be a lot slower, okay? Okay, so if you leave the arms out, you're going to be much, much slower. Bring the arms in as you spin. You're going to be much, much faster, okay? So, try it again here. Alright? So that's why I always bring them into like right here, because it's comfy for me. Alright? You see, I'll swing my hand out like this. I'll step over, and on the final revolution, the final turn before the initial spin, or before the beginning of the multiple spins, I should say, I'll pull in right here. So it's like right when I come back around from the explant, I pull in. So like I said, sometimes I'll step over, normal explant, and I'll go into it. Sometimes, if your balance is off, you can do 2 explants, and maybe you need time to gain your center of gravity again. So you might do this. So sometimes you might go like this, and you're like a little wobbly. It's okay. Just do another one. Just keep stepping over until you don't get too dizzy, of course, but do it. You know, you should only need to do it twice before, and then let that spin rip, because you need to match up with the music, you know. So again, I'll try it. Okay, boom. Remember, it's like you're locking onto your target. You'll know when everything is like nice and aligned and like in center. When you step over, and if you're still not good, step over one more time, and then go into the spin, okay? And sometimes, you know, I'm kind of, both feet are on the ground, and I'm spinning, as both feet are on the ground and I'm spinning, you're going to be putting pressure on the ground as you're spinning, and that's going to either speed you up or slow you down. So notice, and that's another key to stopping yourself to where you want to face. So by the end of the spin, start to put pressure on the bottoms of your feet. Like flex your foot a little bit, put pressure in the heel, in the arch, and the toes, and that's what slows you down. So watch. If I want to end up over here to my left, okay, I stopped myself by, I raised my feet a little bit on this one, and I put pressure, and it stopped me facing to my left. Let me see if I can stop myself over to the right now, okay? Okay, lost my balance. I'll try it again. Okay, lost my balance a little bit again, but I still ended up over here because of the spotting technique. All right, if I want to face you, the camera, and do it. Okay, lost my balance a little bit, but and I landed out with a foot out, which is okay. Because the crowd, or the people watching you, they're not going to know. As long as you can pull it off, and maybe go, you know, if you land funny, you land kind of weird, okay, well just bring it back up and do like a move and slide it out or whatever. You know, it doesn't matter. No one's ever gonna know. Maybe you fell on purpose, maybe you didn't, you know, that's so. And then again, when you're rocking, sometimes I notice also just now, I'll do a double tap. I'll go, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll go like 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's just something that I kind of do to, I'm doing that to balance myself, to prep myself, you know. 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So take any extra steps that you need to, but try your best to sync up with the music when, you know, when the time comes, obviously. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you might have saw, I kind of, when I did that, I kind of went like that a little bit. Just, you need to slow down and take your time. When you plant that foot, like, you need to be solid and ready to go. Don't bend it, don't, you know. So, boom, step over, find that sweet spot where you step over, spin at the same time, and bring the feet together. Boom. Open the arms up, or close the arms from being opened up. Okay? Alright. So, you're going to get dizzy if you're not used to this. You actually have a fluid. I've explained it in the first series. There's a fluid in your brain. It's like gray matter. You can look this up. And as you spin more and more and more, you wonder how like ballerinas get better at spinning. That gray matter, or that lighter in weight matter, turns like darker over time and turns like more solid. It's like this fluid in your head. So it makes you less dizzy. I have it in my notes. I forgot the exact term, but yeah. So, like I said, the more you spin, the better you're gonna get, the better you're gonna become. I mean, go figure. The more you practice at anything, consistency, running man, T-step, do all the fundamentals, you're gonna get better at it. The more you spin, you're gonna get better at it. You're gonna find your center of gravity. So, that's just a little bit of insight on me kind of breaking down my spins and when I rock. I'll play a song here on the next video for the demo, as always, and just take in what I do and then apply it to your own style, your own dance, and, you know, you should start to see some progress if you apply what I've taught today in this video. So thank you guys for watching. Again, if you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and the bell to get notified every time I drop videos. Okay, so I'll talk to you soon. Keep shuffling. See you on the dance floor. Peace.